Hello and welcome everyone, I am Madals and this is another StarCraft 2 England cast. Now today I have got a ladder game. It is between a red Protoss player called StarNaN, who is in the lower left position, and in the top right a blue Zerg called EGIdrA, who is of course from Evil Geniuses. Now this therefore means that it is a PvZ and the map is Daybreak. Basically a super awesome map that everyone loves. Seriously, if this map was a person, it would be like the most popular person in the world. Everyone would just love them, they'd shower with affection, everyone would want to get married to them, and like they'd never pay for meals because every restaurant owner would be like, oh, you can eat here for free. That is how much people like Daybreak. Now, already we've got that pylon coming down here for StarNaN, and that basically means that he's going to be going for a fast expansion. Could be Nexus first, could be Forge first. It really is something we can't tell right now. It depends how confident he's feeling. Nexus first isn't unviable or inviable because obviously the rush distance on Daybreak is huge, and EGIdrA would just have to do something completely crazy in order to really deal damage. EGIdrA on the other hand, hopefully will go for a pool and then a hatchery. The reason you go for a pool first rather than a hatch first is because if your opponent were to go for a forge and then you went for a hatch first, hypothetically they could cannon rush you, and then you'd be very sad. And if you were EGIdrA, one could probably expect you to get very cross. Now, for anyone wondering why did that probe mine some minerals, it wasn't to steal the 5 minerals. It basically means that if a worker is mining a mineral patch, be it an allied or enemy one, they basically the AI automatically bounces the drone to another patch. So it can be just a little bit awkward and mess up the AI and just delay a bit of mining time, and why not? It's not like you've got anything else to do. Now, you do have quite a lot of minerals banked up here, so StarNaN might actually go for a Nexus first build. I think that's very likely, judging by the fact that he's now nearly up to that 400 minerals. EGIdrA, he went for a 17 pull. Did he? Yes, he must have done a 17 pull. That is a very late pull actually, so feeling very, very brave there. EGIdrA now, basically because the expansion is coming down, he has now just started up his, well, second base, but it is hidden down here. Now, the one advantage of expanding the way down here is that your opponent can't block it, which obviously we saw, but your opponent can cannon it, and judging by the fact the forge is coming down and the probe is sitting there, it seems something that could be quite likely. EGIdrA though, he's getting up those Zerglings. StarNaN, he's getting up that gateway, another pylon, his Nexus is half done. Now EGIdrA, he needs to get in about sort of the next 20 to 40 seconds this third base down, basically to keep up economically. Now, a cannon coming down to complete the wall off here, everything looking okay. A probe getting picked off down here. Still, everything looking okay for EGIdrA. He seems to be in a good spot right now. That probe is getting away. Everything's great. That Overlord just scouting everything, so it's all good. That probe is going to die. Well, I'll give you all the satisfaction of watching it explode into a million pieces. Is it? Is it? There we go. Poor probe. Poor probe. Anyway, there's EGIdrA. He got that down at what, roughly about 4 minutes 20, just after 4 minutes 20, about on the money. Already some drone transfers coming down to that third base, and this is looking, gearing up to be a very macro-focused game indeed. Another probe coming out. Interesting to see what that does. Still just getting all the scouting information. EGIdrA really doesn't want to give away too much, but for the moment, StarNaN, he's basically got everything he wants. EGIdrA is going to be able to get an awful lot. Putting his Overlord up on this high ground there, a good spot to put the Overlord, because basically you can't deal any damage to it up there unless you do have vision of the high ground. But EGIdrA choosing instead, oh no, the rally point finished. I thought it was going to change it, but no. Obviously those Nexus just going way on board with getting all the probes up. We do have yet another upgrade on its way, the +1 ground weapons, and hang on, is that a pylon? EGIdRA's not going to be happy if you do a cannon, but EGIdRA doesn't scout anything. Oh dear. Okay, so we could see some rage in a minute, but EGIdRA for the moment, he's got good information about what's going on. Sacrificing in that Overlord potentially, knows the Cybernetics core is only just finished, so therefore knows everything is fine. There won't be a Stalker yet. Sentry on its way, and oh dear. Oh dear. That's photon cannons and pylons and drones are trying to attack it. There is a grand total of 1 Zergling, and this base is going down. That's just not gonna survive. Not a chance. 0 chance. That base is gone. That base is gone very quickly. EGIdRA sending so many units in. He's sending the Queens in. Queen's trying to focus down the photon cannon. One photon cannon falls, but the next one finished. And this isn't looking good. EGIdrA losing an awful lot of stuff. I don't know who's coming out with the best cost effective at the moment. EGIdRA doing a very cost effective engage as you see. That Zealot is in there though. And well, there goes down one queen. Those two additional photon cannons are on their way down. And once they finish up, obviously them both finishing simultaneously means they will do an awful lot of damage awfully quickly. But for the moment, StarNaN is not doing that much damage with it, to be honest. The cannon should have a range. 2 more cannons being allowed to be killed here before the queen moves any further forward. And of course, this is a very, very difficult position now for EGIdRA. If I were him, I would actually just go down the Nidus network, build it in your opponent's base, and just go and kill them. Because if we look here, there's literally just probes and one stalker doing the right thing, transferring the drones down to the 3rd base because that one isn't under attack at the moment. But with all the creep out there, this cannon rush has sort of ended where it is. And EGIdRA, it looks like he's going to go for the right move and actually taking the center expansion. I think that is a great place to expand to. Like, really, really good place to expand to. That Stalker gets picked up. And at the moment, StarNaN engaging incredibly cost ineffectively, but now this hatchery is going to go down, and that will bring the cost effectiveness all the way back. We've got gas coming down here for EGIdRA. He's taking 4 simultaneously. That's a good move. He's getting a macro hatch up and the roach one. So looking like he's gearing up ready to deal an awful lot of damage. Quite a few Zerglings on the field right now. Just droning behind it though. Looking down here at StarNaN's base, he's getting up some more gateways. That'll take him up to 4 gates. That will allow him to put a bit more pressure. Of course, the +1 Protoss ground weapons are finished. He can warp in with this pylon. That is just such a good position. He's got this defensive point there. You can poke in and pull back, poke in, pull back. And there's going to be very little EGIdRA can do to stop that, especially with 2 pylons there. Very, very easy. For the moment, a warping of Stalkers into the main base, just allowing him to pick off one of EGIdRA's overlords. It does supply block EGIdRA. Needs to be a bit careful with this base. It's slightly exposed, and now pylon coming down to the front as well. Such mobility going to be there for StarNaN in terms of where he warps in those units and just how he pesters it. One Zealot getting warped in, and it's going to run up to the main, but of course the queen there could be a bit of a pain, but obviously some long range mining going on here. Bit of a miss time in terms of transferring those drones over, but those Zerglings, they have spotted the forward pylon, and they're going to be quite irritating. That single Zealot going to do an awful bit of damage to the queen. 4 queens coming out, and so are the roaches. Now the roaches should be able to help deal with that cannon at the natural base, but EGIdRA is back up to 3 bases. In terms of the worker count, 48 to 59, so 11 behind there for StarNaN compared to EGIdRA. That's not a huge problem, to be honest, because he is only on 2 bases. Looking to set up his 3rd. There we go, the 3rd base is queued up to get basically produced now, and obviously with a good defensive force, taking a 3rd isn't too difficult, and a Protoss player on 3 bases can do whatever they want to. The Twilight Council coming out, the robotics facility coming out, the +1 ground armor for Protoss is just finished, and that is just a great spot. Zergling speed only just on its way out, no lair at all yet. Oh, actually, no, the lair is done. How did I miss that? That was incredibly noob of me. I do apologise, I was too fixated on the cannon rushing, but both these players actually playing fairly well. If we look at the resources lost, very even now. So both these players engaging very similar in terms of what they're losing. That is good overall. It means that it all comes down to has the better economy, the better tech. 2nd evolution chamber on the way down here for EGIdRA. The +2 ground weapons on the way out. That was what the Twilight Council was for. Hasn't been used for anything else yet. We probably will see Blink researched at some point because it's such a good upgrade. 2 photon cannons, 2 gateways. May see almost a complete wall off here by StarNaN. It wouldn't be a bad move because he wants to defend that 3rd base effectively. The roaches trying to push him, pick off both of those pylons, rendering the cannons useless. And now, of course, we will see EGIdRA start getting very, very cost effective by picking off this cannon rush. We'll be able to secure a 4th base in a very defensive position actually, because he's had this forward base out for a long time, and he's basically expanding behind now in probably the safest position he possibly could get aside from his main. Now, of course, Watchtowers being aggressively fought over. StarNaN is there with that 1 immortal at the moment. Are there any more on the way queued up? Yes. No robotics bay yet as far as I can see. I don't even think there's one out. No, there isn't. So no Colossus yet. So it looks like just a decent push with those 2 gates. 2 more on the way. Now a lot of Zerglings coming in. This is going to be a big Zergling run by. But there wasn't gas. I'm surprised the Zerglings would just go for it. But for the moment, StarNaN could be forced back. He could try and pick off those Zerglings. Hive on the way out now for EGIdRA. Of course, that will allow him to get into that tier 3 tech, which is just oh so potent. Warp Prism on the way now as well. That will allow StarNaN the ability to warp in. Also do a little bit of dropping. There are a couple of different options available to him. But EGIdrA will be a base up shortly, which is where he wants to be, but the work count heavily in EGIdRA's favour. He could almost build a few spine crawlers just to get that down a little bit. The Spire coming down now, the +1 Zerg melee attack upgrades, all very, very good. Infestors coming out, Pathogen Glands nearly finished, Blink on the way, the Robotic Bay coming down, and this is the big spine wall I was talking about. EGIdRA needs to start getting those spines down. Some good force builds at the moment. Now Wolf Prism needs to be careful, doesn't want to go down. Should see some Blink Micro once that Blink upgrade has finished, but for the moment, obviously no way to basically keep those stalkers more cost effective. Those spines getting picked up, not getting cancelled either. That's a bit of a surprise. I thought EGIdRA would have cancelled them with nothing else just to save the minerals, but to be honest, he's got a great income, so it doesn't matter too much. His fourth base is now finished up, and obviously his hive is about to click in. His Spire, 3/4 done. Greater Spire will start straight after that, ready in order to get out the Broodlords. The Observer on its way out, the +3 Protoss ground weapons coming down now. No counterattacks at all yet from EGIdRA, who is now coming out less cost effective, but his economy is better, so he can do for a while. But StarNaN, up to those 65 drones, he's in just probes rather, in such a good spot, it's untrue. The macro hatch really helping EGIdRA right there, and of course he's just got so much stuff, and really both these players do those Zerg pushing forward. Now the concern I would have if I was StarNaN is I need to start thinking about getting those Colossus up very, very quickly, because Mass Ling Roach rather, very, very good until big splash damage comes in, and also of course those Colossi, just one of them, not enough. You need about 3 or 4 to really deal with the big roach clumps effectively. Now, obviously, EGIdRA, his greatest Spire on the way, getting some Corruptors out, and that means those Colossus going to be needing to be in even higher numbers. So far, the Stargate on its way out, that's probably taking up to Mothership. Of course, late game, that is where you want to be with the Protoss. You want to have a Mothership down, but EGIdRA is just staying very defensively. He knows he's got a great economy. He knows he's got a lot of stuff. That Warp Prism not being utilised yet. Of course, that second Spore Caller coming down, that Warp Prism will have a tough time coming in. Any Warpins will have to deal with 2 spines, 2 queens. Can be difficult. That fourth base not being utilised yet by EGIdRA. I fear he may be oversaturated somewhere, and that is exactly as I thought. Bit of oversaturation there for drones. Probably some oversaturation elsewhere as well, I would imagine. But again, EGIdRA, he's got his work count down to 73. That's not too bad, but of course now that Warp Prism has been spotted, and EGIdRA should be prepared to really defend nicely in his main base any moment. A fourth base on the way out for StarNaN. Of course, he's getting that ready for the Mothership. We can all hope and pray that there'll be carriers, but it seems slightly unlikely. 5 Broodlords coming down now, some Voidways coming down, the Protoss air weapons upgrade, the +3 Protoss ground weapons has now just finished, and of course the second Spire coming out for EGIdRA for the double air upgrades. He has got +1 flyer attack already out, 2/2 melee upgrades are nearly finished as well. That'll help the Broodlings, of course. And EGIdRA, has he got the Adrenal Glands? No! Get Adrenal Glands, EGIdRA, it's just such a good upgrade. EGIdRA is maxed out, Dark Shrine on the way for StarNaN, most likely just to get some Archons in there, ready for the very, very famous, very professionally named Archon Toilet, which is basically you use the Mothership to use a Vortex to suck a whole load of Zerg units in, specifically the Broodlords. A couple of Archons get thrown in, and as soon as they all pop out, the Broodlords are all clumped up, the Archons deal splash damage, and boom, you have dead Broodlords. A 5th base on the way out now for EGIdRA. No, yes, a 5th base. That is compared to the 4th base, so EGIdRA trying to stay a base up, but this is a very defensive position right now. Those Voidways are still popping. They are still popping and locking. That was what I was trying to get to, but I am not gangster enough to do that. Just not at all. Really no. But anyway, we've got good defense positions for both these players. This is turning into what I like to think about Deathball v Deathball. They're like, come at me, bro. No, you come at me, bro. No, because whoever engages is obviously going to have probably a bad attack angle. These Zealots are going to probably force a counter unless you react very, very quickly. Those Zealots with, of course, the +3 ground weapons, very, very strong. Now, the hatchery is allowed to finish, but the concern is, of course, look at how much damage those Zealots are doing. They are now no focus firing, but quite a few units pull back. EGIdRA ideally needs to start thinking about losing some of those roaches. A couple of DTs getting warped in. That DT may just go straight forward, but there are spores there, so they're not going to do anything. So really would be better morphing it into an Archon. He's going to be able to pick off a couple of creep tumors though. That's irritating, if nothing else. And now that 5th base taken out there. Very, very good indeed. That's going to be very annoying. The +2 Protoss air weapons on the way. Mothership nearly finished. The +1 air attack upgrade is finished. The +1 air armor on its way out. The 2/2 melee attack upgrades finished for EGIdRA. I believe it is 3/1 at the moment for StarNaN, who's getting up that Protoss shields, and he's moving forward. He's not up to complete death ball yet, getting 2 more DTs walked in. There is a lot of things being built, but for the moment those spore coolers are not down, which means no detections. Those infestors, oh, don't lose infestors. A fungal growth goes down, captures both of them. Obviously fungal growth does give protection, but all of those infestors are out of position. A great blink forward there by StarNaN, and he's going to pick off so many. That is painful to see, but Corruptors and Broodlords deal very well with Colossus, who of course can't attack. Up EGIdrA, getting a much better angle here. He's going to pick off so much stuff, it's crazy. Getting so many Colossus basically for free. Such a good engagement there for EGIdrA, who is now coming up at about 2,400 resources, not better off, which is great. EGIdRA's economy not too bad. He is on equal basis, but that's okay at the moment. Too many Corruptors in my opinion, but of course the Mothership is now out, but those Corruptors could very easily focus it down, especially with such a slow number of Stalkers. The Broodlords, they're creeping forward. What is the Infestor count like? Well, the Infestor count is not there, though. 0 Infestors, needs to get them restocked up, 2 on the way out. EGIdRA has got a bit of a bank. No money at all in the bank though for StarNaN, who's getting 2 Colossus at a time. Needs to be very careful with how he engages right now. And really that Mothership is the saving grace. An Archon walking in. Could do with some more Archons ASAP. Needs to be careful moving that Mothership forward because the Corruptors are going to have to get in. Does a Corruption go off? No, it doesn't. That's a great thing to use though. And the Mothership dies, and to be honest, I think that could be the nail in the coffin. A Vortex does go down, captures a couple of things. A great blink forward. Does manage to pick up a couple of Broodlords. Well, here come out the rest of the Broodlords, but with very few Archons, this is going to be very difficult to deal with. But the Stalkers focusing down very, very effectively now. Just a lot of Corruptors. EGIdRA suddenly not doing too well and just leaves the game. And, well, EGIdRA, I thought he had it for a moment there when he picked off the Mothership, but overcommitted. I don't think he lost anything behind this, so nope, he definitely didn't. I'm flicking over the map. He hadn't lost anything behind, so very, very shocking there, but well done to StarNaN, who played a very solid game all the way through. Well done to both players. Now guys, if you did like the cast, please thumbs up, please subscribe, and leave a cool comment below. You should also check out my channel because, well, I get new top level games up every single day of the week. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you again soon. Bye for now.